sad. Yeah.
Stop being mean to Bella Ramsey in The Last of Us 2. That's what the journalists are saying. But what the internet is saying, no, we want more memes about her. And unfortunately, the internet gets what it wants.
Joel, I think I found something.
Whoa!
What?
Oh, nothing. It's just your forehead seems bigger than last season.
I think I found a way through over there.
It's never any fun not being able to go to sleep, just like it wasn't any fun watching Last of Us Season 2. So, in the show, Ellie still looks exactly the same, but is supposed to be 5 years older. Also, Ellie still acts exactly the same. So it really conflicts with what the character's supposed to be portrayed as here. Like most people, I liked the first season. I thought they did a great job.
Ellie's super smart. What? Characterization of Ellie being dumb is weird.
Yes, maybe we can prop it open with something and you can slide.
Whoa! Oh my god, what?
Is it getting bigger?
Stop it.
No, seriously, what's with that?
It's fine, Joel.
Does it hurt?
Joel, please. You're making me self-conscious.
I'm sorry, it's just a little bit startling.
It's a normal head, Joel. Can we just get back to the door things?
It's planetary.
Leave it.
It's gonna have its own area code soon.
There was a lot of deviations and more than anything, terrible casting on the part of Neil Druckmann and the director and producer of this show, Craig Mazin. I think they did a terrible job with a lot of the actors they did choose for The Last of Us, including Pedro Pascal, who's just overexposed now.
That's wild. Every time that song got played, I thought about Joel and I would cry. But because we spent the entire last episode or two just not even thinking about him too much, in my humble opinion, and I know nothing, okay, and I'm not a writer, we could have started the episode there. Shouldn't need to be triangulating. Ellie didn't need to be dumb.
Season 2, I was skeptical on them not recasting Ellie and keeping Bella Ramsey as Ellie because it's supposed to take place 5 years into the future, but obviously Bella Ramsey in real life was not going to age that much in, the 2 years it took between seasons, because Ellie still looks and acts like a 14-year-old from season 1, even though she's supposed to be 19.
So maybe if I just move some of this debris, we can get the door open a crack.
Hey! Here! Oh my goodness, Joel! What do I do?
Jesus!
Joel, focus!
Again?
Joel!
Okay, I guess just use your telekinesis?
I don't have telekinesis, Joel!
I don't believe you! Look at the size of that thing! Just try, Ellie, please! I think it's working, Ellie. Keep trying. Come on, cranium!
What happens when a rising star becomes the very reason her own show crashes and burns? Bella Ramsey was once hailed as the future of Hollywood. A breakout talent, a fearless performer, the bold young face behind one of HBO's most ambitious projects. When The Last of Us premiered, she was on top of the world, but in just one season, the story flipped. Now, headlines talk about feuds, flops, and a franchise that may never recover.
Not only is she incredibly controlling, but she's a bitch about it to everybody who works for her when things inevitably start spiraling.
Oh my God. She is so full of it.
This is not what it—
The Last of Us was supposed to be untouchable, a prestige production, millions poured into every frame, award season buzz, record-shattering viewership, the kind of show that puts networks on the map and launches careers into the stratosphere. But Season 2 has become a cautionary tale, and Bella Ramsey, the name at the center of the storm.
The creator of the show is finally speaking out about its failure. The Last of Us creator Craig Mazin admits Season 2 was a—
Behind the cameras, something darker was brewing. Reports of on-set tension, leaked clips sparking outrage, viral interviews unraveling carefully crafted PR, and now whispers from insiders that Season 3 may already be over in the water because of one person.
I'm sorry. That was acting. That's what that was. I don't really care what happens with this movie. I really hope her career is pretty much over. I'd be thrilled to see that. I can't imagine. I mean, Christian—
This isn't just another behind-the-scenes drama. It's a slow-motion car crash that fans can't look away from. And at the center of it all is a star who once seemed unstoppable. But where did it all go wrong? Let's start with the beginning. Or more specifically, the expectations that crushed everything beneath them.
The finale drew over 50% less than the finale of Season 1. You lost half of your
The
audience.
Last of Us wasn't just a show, it was HBO's crown jewel, an answer to critics who said video game adaptations would never work, a billion-dollar bet on cinematic storytelling, character depth, and gritty world-building. And for a while it worked. Season 1 was a phenomenon. Viewership exploded. Reviewers called it genre-defining. Fans praised the cast. Social media couldn't stop talking. Bella Ramsey and Pedro Pascal were everywhere. Interviews, memes, awards, shortlists. HBO had found its next juggernaut. Behind the scenes, the budget ballooned to match expectations. Sets were built like Hollywood blockbusters. Every episode felt like a movie. And when Season 2 was greenlit, the stakes only got higher. HBO wasn't just continuing a show. They were trying to outdo themselves. Bigger scenes, more drama, more emotional weight, and of course, introducing beloved new characters from The Last of Us Part 2. On paper, it looked perfect, but success creates pressure, and pressure exposes cracks. The hype machine was relentless. Cinematic trailers dropped months in advance. Cast announcements went viral. Fans dissected every teaser frame by frame. HBO flooded every platform with promotion. Expectations skyrocketed. And then came the first red flag. Bella Ramsey was back as Ellie. Fans who had followed the game closely were confused. Season 2's story is set 5 years later. Ellie is older, darker, emotionally more complicated. But Bella, she looked exactly the same. And more importantly, she acted the same. Same voice, same energy, same facial expressions. Viewers started to ask the one question HBO hoped they wouldn't. Why didn't they recast? That's when the backlash began. Memes exploded overnight. Side-by-side comparisons between the game's Ellie and Bella's version lit up Reddit. Some defended the choice, but others weren't so kind. The consensus? Bella might have nailed Season 1's version of Ellie, but for the new story arc, she didn't fit. And HBO had a problem they couldn't ignore. Because this version of Ellie, the older, more tormented, battle-hardened survivor, required a transformation, and audiences saw none. But that was only the surface-level problem. What fans didn't know was that behind the curtain, things were already spiraling out of control. And Bella wasn't just struggling to play the part. She was allegedly clashing with castmates, dominating conversations, and creating an atmosphere no one wanted to be part of. But we'll get to that. First, we need to understand the decision that many say doomed the season from the start. There's a reason fans still talk about Ellie. She's not just a character, she's the emotional heart of The Last of Us. In the game's second installment, she's older, more damaged, more violent. She's haunted by trauma and hardened by grief. She's not the same kid we met in Season 1. She can't be. So when HBO confirmed Bella Ramsey would continue the role, fans were stunned. Bella was still visibly young, still carried the same energy as Season 1, but the character she was playing had been through hell. The result? A jarring disconnect that fans just couldn't get past. And then came the dialogue. In early episodes, Ellie, the Ellie who was supposed to be battle-worn and hardened, openly calls herself stupid. A line so out of place, it became a meme. Viewers felt like the character had regressed. She wasn't more complex. She was confused, watered down, childlike, a shell of what she was supposed to be. Social media lit up with criticism. Why is Ellie acting like she's 14 again? Didn't she grow at all? This isn't the Ellie from the game. This is cosplay. Every line Bella delivered was scrutinized. Her voice, her posture, the emotion, or lack of it. And as clips began leaking online, comparisons grew savage. One scene in particular, a heartfelt exchange between Ellie and Dina, drew heavy fire. Isabella Merced, who played Dina, was praised for her subtlety, her rawness. But Bella? Critics said it felt like she was reading cue cards. Flat delivery, overacting. The scene felt lopsided, uneven. One actor carrying the weight, the other struggling to stay grounded. And it wasn't just armchair critics on Twitter. Longtime fans of the franchise, people who'd waited years for this season, began to tune out. Episode viewership dipped. Engagement dropped. By the finale, numbers had cratered by over 50% compared to Season 1. But the acting wasn't the only issue. What viewers didn't realize yet was that the cracks they saw on screen were just a reflection of the chaos happening off-screen. Because while Bella's performance was under the microscope, something else was brewing. A feud with her co-star Isabella Merced that would soon turn public and tear the show's reputation apart. And once that feud hit the spotlight, all hell broke loose. Every major show has tension behind the scenes. It's almost expected. Long hours, intense performances, high expectations. But what happened on The Last of Us Season 2 wasn't your typical creative disagreement. It was war. The first whispers started as production ramped up. Crew members described the atmosphere as tense, uncomfortable, and in some cases, controlling. Directors were reportedly pulling out of key episodes. Rehearsals dragged longer than scheduled. Morale was sinking, and one name kept surfacing at the center of it all: Bella Ramsey. Reports began surfacing of clashing egos, miscommunications, and an unsettling divide between Bella and her co-star, Isabella Merced, who had just joined the cast as Dina, one of the most beloved characters from the game. At first, it was subtle. Isabella and Bella rarely appeared together during downtime. Isabella stuck to her script, kept her head down. Meanwhile, Bella made herself the loudest voice in the room. Crew members say she regularly overstepped, arguing with directors, pushing for script changes, steering interviews towards social topics instead of the show. Insiders described the environment as fractured. Bella allegedly refused to take notes. Scenes had to be reshot multiple times. Tension built, not from creative differences, but personal conflict. According to one insider, you could feel it. Every time they shared a scene, scene, something was off. Cold, calculated, like they were counting the seconds until cut. Fans started to notice the cracks when promo season rolled around. Joint interviews were mysteriously canceled. Social media posts felt cold. Cast members carefully avoided mentioning each other by name. Isabella, always composed, praised the crew, the process, but never Bella. And then came the interview, the one moment no one could ignore. A short, awkward 3-minute segment that was meant to promote season 2. But instead of energy and excitement, what fans saw was something else entirely. Bella Ramsey dominating the mic, launching into social commentary, identity debates, activist talking points. Meanwhile, seated beside her, Isabella Merced barely moved. Arms crossed, eyes down, silent. Uncomfortable doesn't even begin to cover it. Body language experts broke it down frame by frame. Viewers dissected every gesture, every breath. Isabella looked like she wanted to disappear. Her jaw clenched every time Bella interrupted her. Her posture frozen. Her smile non-existent. It wasn't just awkward, it was revealing, because it confirmed what everyone had started to suspect. Something was very, very wrong behind the scenes. And while fans were still reeling from the fallout of that viral interview, things were about to get even worse. 1 week after that disastrous interview aired, the internet exploded again, this time for a completely different reason. Leaked footage from early screenings began surfacing online. Unpolished, raw scenes, behind-the-scenes takes. At first, HBO scrambled to contain it. Copyright strikes flew. Content was taken down within hours, but by then, it was too late. The clips were everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Reddit, frame-by-frame breakdowns, fan reactions, side-by-side comparisons, and what they revealed was savage. On one side, Isabella Merced as Dina, understated, grounded, emotionally resonant. Her delivery had weight. She felt real. Fans praised her for saving the scene, calling her the emotional anchor of every moment she appeared in. On the other side, Bella Ramsey as Ellie, and the reviews were savage. Flat delivery, forced facial expressions, dialogue that didn't land. Her performance, once praised for being raw and fearless in season 1, now felt stiff and overly rehearsed. Critics said she looked like she was acting instead of embodying the character. One viral comment summed it up perfectly. Isabella's playing Dina, Bella's playing Bella. The internet turned quickly. Reaction videos racked up millions of views. TikTok creators roasted entire scenes. Reddit threads lit up with fans demanding a recast. And worst of all, many viewers said they no longer cared what happened next. They were tuning out completely. Even mainstream entertainment media couldn't ignore it. Headlines started popping up. Did HBO miscast Ellie in season 2? Bella Ramsey faces backlash over flat performance. Isabella Merced carries The Last of Us while Bella crumbles. But it wasn't just the acting under fire anymore. As the leaks spread, so did new behind-the-scenes rumors. Reports of Bella skipping rehearsals, disregarding directorial notes, dismissing concerns about her delivery, and all of it tied back to what was quickly becoming the dominant narrative. That The Last of Us wasn't suffering from poor writing, it was suffering from a lead actress spiraling in real time. And while Isabella Merced continued to gain support, fans praising her maturity, her silence, her performance, Bella Ramsey's public image was unraveling fast. Viewers weren't just questioning her performance anymore. They were questioning if she ever should have been cast in the first place. The internet backlash was loud, but behind closed doors, it was even worse. What started as fan complaints and viral reaction videos quickly turned into a much bigger problem, one that HBO couldn't sweep under the rug. Anonymous sources started leaking details to the press. Crew members spoke up. Quiet whispers became concrete headlines. The word that kept popping up? Unprofessional. Reports described Bella Ramsey as difficult to direct, emotionally reactive, and dismissive toward crew members. Some insiders claimed she would interrupt table reads, push social topics in cast meetings, and ignore basic direction on set. One crew member was quoted anonymously saying she thought she was bigger than the show. That comment echoed across every article, every post, every video breakdown. The contrast between Bella and Isabella couldn't have been more glaring. Isabella Merced kept her head down, hit her marks, followed direction, never fueled gossip, never stirred controversy. Even as Bella dominated headlines, Isabella kept it strictly professional. No drama, no distractions, no personal agendas. And it worked. While Bella was being dissected in the media for her alleged behavior, Isabella was quietly being praised behind the scenes. Directors called her refreshing. Executives said she was a future lead. Casting agents reportedly started pitching her for projects outside of The Last of Us, projects Bella was supposed to be in line for. Meanwhile, the damage on set was done. Scenes had to be rewritten, schedules rearranged, tensions boiled over in rehearsals, and the emotional core of the season, the complicated, layered relationship between Ellie and Dina, was barely surviving. What was supposed to be the heart of the story had become its weakest link. But it didn't stop with whispers and scheduling issues. The most damaging quote came from someone very close to the production, a crew member who had remained silent until filming wrapped. In a leaked DM shared across multiple industry gossip blogs, they wrote, "Bella made everything harder. It wasn't about acting anymore. It was about control. Her attitude infected the set." That word again, infected. Fans started using it too. Threads popped up. Is Bella Ramsey destroying her own show? Isabella deserves better. You can't lead a franchise if no one wants to work with you. And through it all, Bella remained silent. No response, no explanation, just silence. But unlike Isabella's silence, calculated, quiet, graceful, Bella's felt like avoidance. And the longer she stayed quiet, the louder the headlines got. By the time season Season 2 wrapped, the show wasn't just losing fans, it was losing momentum. And most importantly, it was losing trust. Internally, HBO was panicking. Viewership was down. The finale pulled over 50% fewer viewers than Season 1's. Merchandise sales dipped. Online sentiment tanked. Fans weren't just disappointed, they were furious. The same fandom that once championed the show had turned on it completely. And the biggest target? Bella Ramsey. What started as a few bad clips and awkward interviews had snowballed into a full-blown PR disaster. Industry blogs reported that HBO executives were holding emergency meetings. Some sources claimed there were talks of re-editing scenes to reduce Bella's screen time. Others whispered that The Last of Us Part 3, once considered a guaranteed hit, had been quietly shelved. Why? Because the risk was now greater than the reward. Bella Ramsey, once a bankable name, had become a liability, and the studios were watching. Casting directors, the gatekeepers of every major project in Hollywood, started backing away. Publicly, nothing was said, but in private meetings, agents were warned. Bella comes with baggage. Directors were told to proceed with caution. Some shows even removed her from shortlists without notice. And Isabella? Her star kept rising. She landed 2 new roles within weeks of The Last of Us airing, one in a major streaming drama, the other in a high-budget thriller. Directors praised her composure and focus. Executives said she was easy to work with and ready for leading roles. She didn't have to post fiery videos. She didn't have to clap back at haters. She just kept her head down, delivered a great performance, and let Bella burn her own bridges. By the time the dust settled, the contrast was painful. One actress was being courted by studios. The other was being avoided by them. And the worst part? Fans saw it coming. They warned HBO. They begged for a recast. They pointed out the signs months ago, but the network ignored them, and now they were paying the price. Season 2 didn't just divide viewers, it exposed a harsh truth. Sometimes the person meant to lead a franchise is the exact person who ends up destroying it. While Bella Ramsey became the face of controversy, Isabella Merced quietly became something else entirely, the unexpected winner of a losing battle. From the moment she joined The Last of Us cast, Isabella played the long game. She didn't insert herself into debates, she didn't tweet cryptic comments, she didn't defend or attack anyone. Instead, she stayed exactly where her focus needed to be, on the work. Behind the scenes, insiders say she was a professional to the core. She showed up early. She took direction. She treated the crew with respect. And even when things got uncomfortable, especially during interviews or press appearances with Bella, Isabella never lost composure. Fans noticed quickly. When Season 2 promos began, it was hard not to see the difference. Bella dominated headlines with activist sound bites and bold social statements. But Isabella, she praised the cast. She credited the writers. She talked about the emotional weight of playing Dana without ever making it about herself. And when drama broke online, when body language experts were breaking down that viral interview, when fans began choosing sides, Isabella said nothing. No public statements, no performative apologies, no retweets, just complete strategic silence. And that silence spoke louder than any of Bella's speeches. It wasn't the silence of fear, it was the silence of someone who knew exactly what she was doing. The silence of someone protecting her future. Behind closed doors, her approach was paying off. Studio execs applauded her discipline. Directors called her low maintenance. Casting agents circled her name. While Bella was dealing with damage control, by times Isabella was fielding offers. By the time the season ended, she had 2 new roles lined up, one of them already filming. Her reward? A career on the rise, untouched by scandal, and backed by a reputation for grace under pressure. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, but it was calculated, and it worked. Because in an industry where chaos is easy to create, composure is rare. And in the mess left behind by Season 2, Isabella stood out as the only one who refused to play the game, and somehow still won. By now, the damage is undeniable. Viewership? Down. Fan support? Split. Public perception of Bella Ramsey? In freefall. Even HBO, once proudly marketing her as the face of their biggest franchise, has gone quiet. Very quiet. Insiders report that Season 3 has been paused indefinitely. Some claim it's canceled entirely, though no official statement has been made. But the signs are clear. Merchandise promotions pulled, social media campaigns stalled, and the production team reportedly reassigned to other projects. Fans aren't stupid. They see the writing on the wall. The franchise that once seemed unstoppable has become a case study in what happens when ego, controversy, and poor leadership collide. A cultural juggernaut reduced to infighting, viral scandals, and what many now call one of the most avoidable disasters in HBO history. And at the center of it all, Bella Ramsey, once a rising star, now a name weighed down by backlash. Her talent isn't the question anymore. It's her behavior, her decision-making, her unwillingness to adapt. And Hollywood doesn't forget. Studio heads are watching, casting directors talk, publicists advise against high-risk talent. And Bella, she's now the kind of name that sparks hesitation in a pitch room. courtroom, not excitement. Meanwhile, Isabella Merced, she's moved on. No scandal, no burnt bridges, no damage. She played her part, protected her future, and proved that silence, strategy, and professionalism still matter. Because in the end, it's not always the loudest voice that wins. Sometimes it's the one that knows when not to speak. The Last of Us was supposed to redefine what a video game adaptation could be. It had the talent, the story, the budget, the audience, everything. But it also had something more dangerous than bad ratings or tough critics. It had dysfunction, and once that dysfunction leaked out, there was no saving the show from itself. So now we're left with a question. Was this all avoidable? Could Season 2 have thrived with a different lead? Could the franchise have survived if Bella had just stayed focused on the role instead of the spotlight? Or was it doomed the moment ego replaced storytelling? One thing's clear. Careers were changed, reputations were exposed, and the show that was supposed to launch Bella Ramsey into superstardom might be the very project that ends it all. But what do you think? Is The Last of Us done for good? Did Isabella Merced quietly expose the ugly truth behind the scenes? And can Bella recover from this? Or is Hollywood already moving on? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We're featuring the best takes in our next video. And trust me, this story, it's far from over.